Well, we got the new hub assembly in. Here's the actual sensor. There's where the wire plugs in. At least I don't have to replace the whole wire. It's actually going to be a pain in the butt to replace the wire, which is here, which I don't need, because part of it goes into the car. It's not underneath the plastic molding completely on the outside, like the front. The rears go into the car, so you have to take up part of the interior to get to this other end with the quick connect. But stock wire on there is hopefully good. I doubt the wire would have failed. It's probably this right here in the car. But man, after going through all this, I don't even have 100% confidence this is gonna fix it. But we're gonna throw it on, reset it. Hopefully that does it. I gotta switch cars out here, make some room. So what we're doing is replacing the inner hub. We gotta take the rotor off. We gotta take the caliper assembly out of the way. You can just hang this on the spring with a couple of zip ties or a bungee cord. You just don't wanna stress this rubber brake hose right there. That is quite a heavy assembly. And we've got the one wire to disconnect right there. That's the sensor wire going into the sensor. And we should have those 4 bolts there to take off. And a little hammer persuasion should take it off. Probably have to take this dust shield off after the rotor comes off. And these screws here can be a complete pain in the ass. I had to drill them off the front, but these are basically just to keep the rotors in place. They're not actually needed. The wheel and the lug nuts keep the rotor in place, believe me. But these make sure that this doesn't wobble or fall off when the wheel is off. So not 100% necessary, but crap, I don't think I have an impact hammer. These do not come off with a normal screwdriver, or don't even try a ratchet with a, an attachment for a bit head. You need to use an impact driver. It's a special little, looks like a screwdriver, but you hit it with a hammer, it impacts it this way and ratchets it at the same time, so that you get full force and full contact in there. And unfortunately, it's a freaking Phillips head. Might be JIS, but either way, really, really terrible for high torque situations. And believe me, these are going to be on there good. The wheel didn't even want to separate easily from the hub, or the rotor, I should say, when I took the lug nuts off. So, crap. I didn't think about that. I might have to go get a new impact driver. Yeah, I gotta look. All right, so here's what you need, an impact driver. I was gonna go to Harbor Freight because they're super cheap on tools like this, but it was only 15 bucks at Lowe's for a Cobalt lifetime guarantee. It's worth the extra literal few dollars. So got this guy here, should be good for the rest of my life. Here's a tip if you're watching this video when it comes out. Right now, Lowe's is printing a $10 off your next $50 purchase through January 2nd on the bottom of their receipts. So watch those. So what you do with this guy, you find the best fit for the bit. They come with a variety, and they're always going to be large because you really don't have these working for really small stuff. You'll have to find another solution for terribly small stuff. But what you do is you whack this end with the biggest, heaviest hammer you've got. If I had a mini sledge, I'd be using that, but you need mass behind this. You need a solid hit. This is the best hammer I've got for the job. You want to use the biggest surface on the hammer, and just be careful. You just want to do one solid whack at a time. What happens is this plunges in. I can't do it with one hand, but this comes down just a little bit when you whack it, and it ratchets. So that's what it's doing, is providing maximum contact, driving itself into the fastener and giving one little click turn with every impact. So it minimizes stripping that out. If you have rusted fasteners or they're tapered heads like this, and in this case it's probably both, and they've never been off from the factory, they've been through a lot of heat cycles, they are stuck on there. The only other tool you can use is a impact air gun, but those can sometimes strip them out, so this is always best to try first. There we go. This one took 2 whacks. This one took 1. Loosened right up. 0 damage. So we got the rotor off. This is a pretty typical low-end rear brake assembly. It's really similar to the front with just really the addition of a drum brake. It's really two brakes in one on vehicles like this. The inner drum brake, these are the drum pads right here, is the parking brake. So, I mean, that's on a real basic car, that's all you have is the inner brake pads and then a drum in the rear, but this is rear disc. And this is the disc rotor, and you can see on the inside, a couple interesting things to note. Number one, I'm just about due for rear rotors. Those are pretty grooved up. I've never done the rear. Got, I don't know, 60,000 miles on this. I've done 2 sets on the front already. So the next brake job I'll do all 4. But you see that wear on the inside, that inner silver band? That's from the parking brake. And that means somebody drove this car for a little while at least with the parking brake on. I've never done it, and it works fine, so I don't have to do anything, but that's not supposed to be there. You might see a tiny little mark, but you shouldn't see any kind of polished metal like that, because the parking brake is only supposed to be on when the vehicle's not moving, and it just locks it into place. You shouldn't have any movement with that parking brake engaged, but clearly there was some at some point. Now I can't feel any kind of grooving or anything, so may have just been a time or two, but yeah. I got it with 15,000 on the clock as the second owner, 1 year old. So it came from Ohio, somebody up north. What the? That's new. Son of a, somebody scraped the side of my car. That's wonderful. I'm glad I don't really care because I've got tons of little nicks. Most of these are from shopping carts. That's what sucks. If I had a nice car, I'd never want to drive it or park it anywhere in public. Seriously, I've got, I don't know how many marks and dings, and they're all from parking in parking lots. Except this one. This one's for me. That was me. It was, I don't know, about a month ago. I put the garbage can out, and usually I put it behind my car so the wife can leave in the morning, or sometimes come back, because sometimes the garbage doesn't come until after she's home. So I put it on my side. Well, I had to go somewhere one day and just completely forgot it was there. And as soon as I looked into my rear view, it was too late, and I was already on top of it. And I just barely kissed it. But it's a big, massive can, and part of the handle just doink. But oh well, I got tons of marks, like I said. Don't really care that much. Got some over here. And it was perfect when I got it, literally. Here's another shopping cart ding. They're all over the place. Anyway, I don't think I have to take anything else off. It doesn't look like anything else is going to interfere. I should be able to just take off the 4 bolts back there, and this whole center piece should slide out. Looks like that there. I don't think that backing is interfering with the parking brake assembly or that dust shield. It looks just completely external. So that's what's next. Okay, so here's how it's assembled. It will slide out, however, it's completely rusted here to the shield and parking brake assembly, so I'm gonna hit this with penetrating fluid and let it sit for a while, and then I'll have to just whack here on the old hub and get it to slide out. Worst case scenario, I can disconnect the parking cable, put this whole thing on the bench, support very firmly underneath the caliper bracket here, and that'll give me enough leverage to punch it out. I think it was some penetrating fluid. I can just hold it here, on my lap and get that to come out, but this is likely to be the most difficult part of the job. And then it just bolts back together. This is the surface right here that we're trying to separate. This is where it's going through the assembly, so it is a fairly substantial chunk of material. I don't think it's pressed in, but it's definitely not easy. Remember what I said at the beginning? Oh, this sucks. Okay, bottom line is, I gotta have the dealer do this. Here's why. It is pressed in. This is probably why there's no how-to anywhere on the internet for doing these rear sensors. It just takes tools I don't have. This is a press fit into the mounting plate and the bracket and the parking brake are one assembly. I can't bang this out. if I bang this out, it's gonna destroy this back here. Water and everything is gonna get in there, and then I couldn't drive this anywhere. So I definitely don't wanna do that. I looked up videos of other similar cars, you know, not the exact, but the similar makeup with the whole hub assembly going into here, and it is definitely a press fit. Some cars you can, because they have a different mounting plate, you can get a jaw puller on and then destroy this and get to the actual bearing inside to push against. There's nothing here. I mean, you could grab here and maybe over here, but this is just flimsy sheet metal. You can't grab on there. There's nothing over there for a puller to get. There's no exposed edge over here on these two sides of the triangle. My best guess is there's a special tool that interfaces on this outer lip, because this is metal under here, but this is a plastic cap. And that's got to be what they press against. There's probably something that interfaces with these two caliper mounting bolts to be the other side. But I'm not getting this off. Even if I disconnect that and take this on the bench, there's nothing I can interface with. I can't even go rent or borrow one of the tools because I've used all those. I know what they look like. They're all clamp jaw pullers, and they need equal spacing, at least two, a bare minimum of two, directly across what you're pulling, or it'll slip off. There's just nothing here. That sucks. Maybe they got some tool that goes into the threaded holes. The threads are actually on the hub assembly. They're just smooth bore holes on the mounting plate, so there's nothing I could, you know, put in there to even wrench it out. Trying to think, but I think right now I've got to put it all freaking back together and pay a dealer. It's probably going to be like $300. They won't use my aftermarket part, that's for sure. And that is not a Kia part, so, and even if it was, they usually don't do that. So that's going to be at least $50 for a Kia part, and you know, probably 2 hours of labor. So it's probably another $250 on top of what I spent. So yeah, this, say $50 part, just because of the process I went through, buying the tool, doing the two front, buying a cable I didn't need. I just tripled my cost. No, more than that. 5-6 times the cost. Ah, man, I hate it when I can't finish a dang project. But I'm not investing in some kind of special tool that's going to be just as much as having them do it that I will never use again. That sucks. If only there was something I could grab with a normal bearing puller. There just isn't. Crap. And I did start banging on it, but it started really ripping through the plastic. And that's it. I mean, it's not even slightly budging. And I let it set for 15 minutes with 2 applications of PB Blaster. It's just a press fit. I mean, no amount of banging will get it off there. I mean, I've seen guys on videos with other cars pulling these out, and they're just about destroying their tool. So, I mean, they can be really in there. Damn it. Well, at least it's not a huge deal, and it doesn't affect the car other than no traction control and ABS. But, yeah, back to the drawing board. That sucks. I hate defeat. So on to other projects. I might tackle this in the morning when there's more light, but we're getting a little bit of a leakage when I run a cycle on the dishwasher. It doesn't spurt out or anything, but a little pool of water. It's not hurting anything. It's not getting it on any wood. It just sits there on the tile. Now, as far as I can tell, nothing's really broken. The side seals look okay. Could use a cleaning. But this piece here, see where that white dips out? I don't know if that's normal or not. But it's not really doing it on that side. I mean, it bows out a little bit, but not quite that far. I can't tell where exactly it's leaking. If this is supposed to be more flush or something's broken or out of place, I can kind of flex it. I'm just not sure. I might have to unscrew the door here and take a look inside. But I don't see anything really broken. That's a little boat out there. How about this side? No, that is too. So, not really seeing anything obvious, but I'll try to track that down. It's been doing it since, you know, we moved in, since nothing had changed. Probably been that way for a while. I know that they didn't install it quite right. They've got, well, a mix of and some missing bolts. This one here, definitely not the right bolt. It slightly hits the door. And actually that may have something to do with it. Maybe the door is getting jostled and you hear that click. That's the panel or something catching on the bottom. So it's not quite installed right. Definitely room for improvement, but that screw down there rubs. And when you close it, it's got interference and it moves the whole door to the right just a little bit. So, something to at least check out. But I'm thinking that pop is really what's going on. And it, oh, you know what? It might be that the panel is supposed to be out and it's pushed in here. Looking at it, I got my eye right up to the counter and I can see the edge. So that might be it. It might be leaking like in the middle here somewhere. I don't know. I think I really do want to pull this panel off though tomorrow and take a look. Something else cool, it'll be coming up on the channel soon. I'm gonna have a full review of this. The company sent it in for review since I saw I was doing a bunch of smart home stuff. It's pretty much, well, think of it as a web-controlled GoPro with pan and tilt, remote controlled through an app. And it says smart control from anywhere. I'm betting this is like not really smart home controlled. It's probably just through the app like so many other things. But we'll see. I don't see anything on it about working with Google Home or Alexa or anything like that. So it probably is just completely unique to its own app, but it has cloud storage, it has local storage on an SD card. It does work over Wi-Fi, so you know maybe I'll be able to do something with it with Samsung Smart Things. We'll find out, but I'm going to be playing with it, and after I've familiarized myself with it and tested it out, I'll have a full review and see if it's worth the money or not. Anyway, I think that's it for today, guys. Hope everyone had a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.